utilized Maria and that character of Mrs. S in season 1, and you really wanted to give her some more meaty stuff to do in season 2, didn't you?
I don't know. I wouldn't say underutilized.
Well, what'd you say?
She was a sleeper.
Okay.
Yeah. We kind of knew that Mrs. S was a badass, and we were waiting for the right time to show off her badassness.
In truth, we just couldn't fit it in the first season.
We do have another Twitter question. This one does go to Maria. It's from @LucyLovesJuice. So do I. Will Mrs. S get any action next season? Well, she got some action last season, I know that.
Those games.
Another Carlton Maria, what's going on?
I don't know, is Carlton coming back? That was something. A lot of people have been saying today that they're really interested in Paul and Mrs. S's tea session.
Maybe make that tea a little stronger.
I think that was maybe a little step too far for Sarah and Mrs. S's relationship now. But I don't know, anything that comes, none of us ever know what's going to happen. We don't know like you don't know, and we're just excited and trust them and know that it's going to be exciting, and that whatever happens, we won't expect it. So it's fantastic for us to work. It's really brilliant.
Let's jump down to Ari for a minute. You've seen what Tatiana has to do to prepare for scenes. I understand you went on the set to watch the big clone dance party scene, which must have made your head explode. How much of sort of Graeme and John and Tatiana sort of prepared you for maybe what's to come, playing different characters in season 3?
I'm still waiting to find out what I'm doing. We've had a couple conversations, and I know a little bit about who I am and about where we're going, but Tat's one of the most generous actors you'll ever work with, and I know if I ever do have any questions that she'll be there to answer them. But, you know, it's a very personal journey, I think. Her creating her characters and me creating mine, so I really look forward to it.
And you were a character that was supposed to die.
I was.
You're not supposed to be here. Like, Paul was supposed to take you out at that bar scene, right?
Episode 6, yeah.
That's how John Fawcett introduced both of us. He was like, "Hey, this is Ari, and you're gonna kill him, Dylan." I was like, "Sorry about that, Ari." But it never happened, thank God, because Ari is such an amazing addition to that.
Yeah, he just showed up, you know, in that first episode, in that diner scene, and sitting opposite him was like, this actor was so present and so just had this well of depth. Shit, like he was just so. Sorry guys. Stuff. But he's just such a presence, and I think, you know, getting to use him in this way next year is just so exciting, and it's just going to elevate the piece, I think.
Dylan, still don't trust you, man. Still don't trust you. I just don't. I know you've been under.
Dalton, I don't trust myself. I mean, seriously, what's going on here?
I mean, I know you're undercover. You had this whole ruse. The Afghanistan thing was just a ruse to get into the diet. But how can I be expected to trust you when Paul is off doing stuff like this? Let's take a look.
It comes up. And we keep it professional, very professional. And my man crush on Jordan Gavaris is almost as much as my crush on Clone Club. So when I read that scene, I was like, you guys are gonna hate me.
That was hard for you. You were not.
I thought Paul would become unredeemable after that, but you know, he was doing it for a reason.
But you know what? I gotta say, you did so well being comfortable enough to show everybody, like, cause you know, you're putting yourself on camera for like millions of people. You felt that was so brave that you got comfortable enough to do that, to show that nasty part of yourself, to show that side. That was amazing.
Thanks, buddy. But you see that little hint.
I had a
You see that little hint of regret when he puts the gun in his hand, so you know there's that tinge of goodness in him. But at the same time, I must say, Jordan got me back during that scene for doing that to him. Because Felix wears some high heel boots, and when I was doing, we did about 10, 15 takes, and every time I flipped him over and pushed him down, that boot kicked me in the exact same spot on my shin.
Oh,
I think it's still a scar. so into it, he spit on me.
Who's nasty now?
Yeah, who's nasty now, Clone Club? I never said I wasn't nasty. And I looked at the scene, I was like, Jordan, if I didn't love you so much, that would not be cool. But it was cool, I bottled it, and it's now on eBay, so if you guys want it.
All right, well, we saw Paul taking charge in that last clip. There's another guy who took charge, right? A guy who's not... His name is Donnie, and here's what happened when Donnie decided to push back. The Clone Club needs answered right now, for once and for all. Where does Donnie do his underwear shopping? Because the guy's in his underwear a lot. It's like the least sexy underwear. They're like tiny whities, but they're kind of baggy in places.
Frumpy, just really frumpy.
We call those droopy draws, right?
Yeah.
Droopy draws.
Droopy draws.
On right now?
Droopy draws are
That's a cartoon character. No, that's Droopy Dog.
Oh my god.
That's the character. If my underwear was a character, that would be it.
I think Alison might buy his underwear.
I think that's totally it. I guess that's what Alison likes.
Yeah, she
John and Graeme, you guys actually had some scenes with Donnie in the finale that you had to cut out that people can see on the DVD and Blu-ray. I don't know if you guys have checked that out yet, but tell them about, you can see Donnie trying to do a little blackmailing, right?
Yeah, it's true, actually. We obviously, we ended the finale with, we had a lot of material. And unfortunately, Kristian, I'm sorry. Kristian didn't make it to air in episode 10. And so we finished the scenes, though, and we put them on the DVD because they're awesome. And because you're awesome.
Thanks, Fawcett.
And it's really, you know, Donnie taking charge, really, is what those scenes are all about.
If you want to see Donnie try and get his monitor expenses back from Rachel, you should check out
So there's a little treat for you on the DVD, so check that out.
Yeah, it is cool. You guys should check it out if you haven't already. All right, another Twitter question. This one from Tatiana from @Greek_mythology. It's an interesting one. Which deceased clone do you wish you would have more time, had more time to interact with? I guess you got 3 to choose from, right? You got Beth, Katya, Jennifer, who we saw this year in the videos. Any of those that you really wish you could have more time?
I'd like to try to go back to all of them. I mean, I think Jennifer would be quite an interesting character. She's sort of, we got a very small glimpse of her, but weirdly we sort of saw her whole life in 3 sequences, and we shot that in pre-production, like before camera, and it was this weird day of shooting this woman's life and then losing her at the end, so it might be quite interesting to go back to her. But Beth, I think, is a fascinating tool. She's got everything. She's got so many, clues to the. I don't know what. She's got something.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's what I got the most. When I put out there, that's what most people want to know. I mean, here's one from the Archer Ballet. I don't know what that means. And asking, and a lot of people asking, are we ever going to see Beth's backstory? John, Graeme, any chance of a flashback episode or anything like that?
nothing is off the table.
We are. I mean, we've talked about Beth's story as part of the mythology of the series since the beginning, and we're both fabulously interested in Beth's story, and I think that at some point, there is a definite chance that we may see that. Don't you think, Graeme?
I think that there's probably a twist on what happened with Beth that we don't know yet. Yeah.
Well, there's definitely a twist.
Where did Beth and Paul have their first date, guys? Just curious.
That's the big mystery.
That's the big mystery. That's what I want to know.
Johnny Rockets.
It's killing. That's what I was going to say. I was going to say Shake Shack. Are you really? Yes.
It was Denny's for Grand Slam breakfast.
We got a Twitter question from @PunkMissInny. Can we see more of Tony? And can he be Tony was a transphobe character we met this season. I think you guys were all really excited to introduce him, even knowing he might be a divisive character and people may have strong feelings one way or the other. What do you guys think? Would they bring him back and that spectacular mullet? Maybe.
I would well, I love Tony. I would love to explore him further. I think we, got the very littlest bit of him. And he just offers so much as far as identity and gender identification and exploration and expression. And, our show's about that. Our show's about individuals and about people and how they express themselves. And so he offers all of that. But at the same time, he's sort of singular in the sense, his mullet and his, he's just this guy who I've never seen on screen, and I've never read that guy on a page, and I'm so excited by him and by the interaction with Felix and by the conversation that he prompted. Whether it be I think polarizing is the only way we're going to start talking, and the only way we're going to start understanding each other, and finding out that coming to understanding, I think, and telling trans stories and having trans actors in those parts is part of just getting the stories out there.
And having a debate that's polarized is so much better than not having a debate at all.
Absolutely.
Has to be something that you are innately comfortable with all the time. When something makes you uncomfortable or it makes you think, why suddenly is that not a good thing? I'm fairly certain, or at least the way that I think about art, is that it can make you feel warm and fuzzy, it can make you think, it can make you uncomfortable. So long as it moves you in some way, that's artistic. So we accomplished exactly what we set out to do.
And I think Felix changed so much by meeting Tony. We talked a lot about the mirror, the sort of way that Tony kind of goes, look at yourself, man, like, we're the same.
You think you're special, you think you can evade
you think
me.
you can, play this game in front of me and I'm not going to see through it. And so they sort of really have this equality and this sort of... which is...
I'd also like Mrs. S to meet Tony because I think that Mrs. S would understand his rebelliousness and spirit and strive for identity, but she also has a lot of conversations she needs to have with him about table manners.
Yeah, I would love to see Mrs. S and Tony having whiskeys for an evening and chatting. That would be the best.
John, Graeme, anything you guys want to add to that?
Well, only, my favorite part of that was the super hot kiss. It was a little weird, but super hot.
And now, are you asking to kiss Maria too?
What?
Is Tony asking?
It's Tony asking to kiss Maria.
That's the question.
Yes, it is.
Here's one more. This is my favorite question that was sent in from the Clone Club. Ellie Long asked a question. Where are Cosima's parents? Their daughter is seriously sick.
Graeme?
I guess they're out in Berkeley. Maybe they're they're a little disengaged.
They don't own a car, so they're like walking really slowly.
I've always wanted to meet some parents.
Well, we've talked about meeting Alison's mother.
Yes.
Played by Felix still.
Who would play that? Who should play Alison's mother?
Catherine O'Hara.
Get on that one. All right,
Or Mimi Rogers.
we're going to get to your questions in just a minute because I know, because they love to interact with the Clone Club. But first, before we do, check out this fun clip featuring some of the memorable moments from season 2 of Orphan Black. Check it out.